Hi, it's Pearl again. I am going to walk you through the steps of creating lessons that align directly with your specific situation. As of now, it is important to remember that for the free GPT version, users are typically limited to about 10 messages every 3 hours, though this can vary between 10 to 60 messages in a 5-hour window, depending on system load. To make sure your lesson is built just for you, we are going to use a step-by-step prompt system with up to 10 questions to guide the process. Why not just ask the system to create a full lesson? I do have this capability. The issue becomes pedagogical clarity. When teachers request a full lesson all at once, they often skip over critical thinking steps that ensure the lesson is instructionally sound, standards aligned, and context-specific. Pearl should be used as a purposeful design tool. Like building a game strategy, the step-by-step approach ensures every move, from objectives to cues to assessments, is intentional, layered, and aligned to student learning. Let's go through the steps that consider a meaningful lesson. Step 1. Lock in your content and objectives. Begin by selecting your target content. This could be a skill, a movement, or combination. Once selected, align this content to the appropriate grade level standard from Shape America, or, if you're working within North Carolina, use the NC Essential Standards. Make sure you have all 3 domains present. Bonus points for fitness objectives. Next, write your objectives using the situation, task, criteria format outlined in the Objective Writing 101 Guide, C, parts of a lesson plan. Each objective must be anchored to a lesson phase, for example, during Task 2, or the situation. Centered on the actual skill, like volleyball bump, which informs the task. And measurable, with clear success criteria. I recommend you writing objectives manually rather than relying on Pearl. This task is simple and vital for instructional clarity. However, if you need help with standard alignment or phrasing, you may still use Pearl. Step 2. Determine your instructional cues. Instructional cues set the foundation for skill acquisition and lesson structure. Use the dedicated Pearl prompt under the bookmark. Find ideas for games quickly from vetted sources to generate textbook-aligned, vetted, and student-friendly cues. The output should give you 4 options total. Select the one you see as the best option. Step 3. Select your Task 2, the application task. This is where backward design begins. Task 2 should be a game-like application of your skill focus. Use Pearl's bookmark system. Find ideas for games quickly from vetted sources and Task 2 selection to explore options. Choose an activity appropriate for your student's skill level, class environment, and equipment access. This should take 1 prompt. Then, after you select the activity, individualize it using Pearl's enhancement tools. Consider task progressions, intra-task variation, equipment, space, and time constraints, IEP/504 adaptations, theming or engagement hooks. For example, with minimal space, limited equipment, and a student with an intellectual disability, Pearl quickly adapts your game to meet all needs. Step 4. Design your Task 1 skill development task. Now that Task 2 is set, use Pearl to build a Task 1 that leads logically into it. Use the prompt system to explore variations and select an activity tailored to your student's developmental readiness and lesson objectives. If you need to, you can follow up with additional constraints. However, they may be similar because it is the same skill, the volleyball bump. Step 5. Choose your instant activity. Use the prompt system to select an engaging warm-up. Make sure it matches your lesson's intended purpose, whether it's review, pre-assessment, classroom management, or whatever you deem necessary. Step 6. Complete the remaining lesson components. Fill in the remaining lesson elements by referring to the parts of a lesson plan document into your lesson plan. Elements like CFUs, checks for understanding, anticipatory sets, instructional reminders, and hooks should be customized based on your students. Some examples include: if your class thrives in small groups, CFUs can be done in pods. If students love a specific athlete, use them in your anticipatory set to boost engagement. If the class struggles with transitions, these may need to be written out. These elements are done manually to preserve authenticity and context. Step 7. A general review followed by line-by-line feedback scans. This ensures content alignment, structural consistency, and clarity. Because Pearl is a large language model, it may sometimes generate predictive assumptions. Always double-check unclear areas to verify instructional accuracy. Step 8. Create ancillary materials. Use the Pearl prompt bookmark label design original lessons and assessments. This will get you started for designing assessments for this lesson. Other items you may consider are anchor charts or cue posters, equipment checklists, a visual aids for rules, roles, or stations, adapted visuals for students with disabilities. Step 9. Seek human feedback. This is the last step. Share your lesson with a colleague. A fresh set of human eyes can catch gaps or make suggestions Pearl might miss. And then celebrate because you just created a well-designed lesson. Well, I hope you learned a thing or 2 about creating lessons. Look at the description in this video for a Google Doc that will give you these directions. Until we meet on the interwebs,